Hi there and welcome to this webinar. My name is Graham Hay. I'm joining you from Auckland, New Zealand. It is my pleasure to be able to share with you our 2020 vision, where anyone is welcome to the $1 Million Circle. Now during this webinar, I'm going to go through a number of different concepts and a lot of different figures, but I'm going to ask you not to concentrate so much on understanding the figures, but understand the concepts. After watching this webinar again and again, you'll get those figures and they'll become like second nature to you. So before we get started, please make sure that you've got a pen and paper ready so that you can note down the formulas and the figures that we're going to share with you, because our goal is that at the end of this webinar, once, twice or three times, you will be able to go off and share this vision with anybody. Okay, so you're ready to play? Great. Okay, well, the first thing I want to share with you is, well, the question is, do you want to know the good news or the bad news? Let's start with the bad news. The bad news is that even with this 2020 vision, we're going to have to work. And we're going to have to work probably harder than we ever worked before in our lives. The good news is that you're going to be working anyway, so you might as well take on this vision because it's going to be able to take you to a million dollar status and create leveraged income, which will leave you in a place that you can live your life, pursue your passion in a way that you've always chosen to do. And you won't have to sacrifice your whole life to do it. So, what is the 2020 vision? Well, let's just talk a little bit more about why is vision so important. You know, so many people who come and look at the Nu Skin business opportunity get very excited about the potential. They get very excited about what they could do with their life. They get interested in the high levels of income available to them. However, the roadmap may not be so clear. So what we want to do over the course of this webinar is make it so simple that anyone can understand. And once that roadmap is out in front of us, then all we have to do is follow it, take action, and show others how to do the same. So with a clear vision, then we can take action. When our vision is clouded, that's when we don't. So let's talk a little bit, first of all, about the Nu Skin Enterprises. Perhaps you know the Nu Skin vision statement, but I want to share it with you first before we go along. The Nu Skin vision statement is to become the world's leading direct sales company by generating more income for its sales leaders than any other company. Now, I don't know what that says to you, but if you're in employment or you run your own business, do you wake up every Monday morning saying, yeah, I am part of an organization that wants to pay more to me for my participation than any other organization in my industry? Well, if that's not the case, this is the time to listen up. You're in the right place right now. And this is why this company is growing so fast. Now, what is at the base of all this is not the actual compensation plan, which has always been enough to create massive leaders, massive checks. But right now, over the past couple of years, the company has put together a number of corporate-sponsored incentives which focus us on the right activities. And as these all come together, they're kind of like different pieces of the puzzle. And now the puzzle has been made in a way that we can see their vision. I want to share these with you. The first of those is for people who are just beginning in the business. And if you're in the South Pacific or the Europe, Middle East, or Africa, so that's EMEA region, then we have different types of incentives for people who are just getting started. They're all focusing on the right actions, which are sponsoring new people, that's finding new consumers with product, or sponsoring new people into starting their business and helping them to get into the qualification process to become an executive. The rewards for this is cash in the hand. So for people who are just getting started with the business, these are the incentives that you want to become familiar with, and make sure that you're using them. Every month, the question to ask yourself and discuss with your support team is, how have I used these incentives to make more money for myself and to focus on the right activities? The intermediate incentives are down in the South Pacific. We call it the Kickstart bonus, which is a 7,000 Australian dollar bonus by the time that you become a Ruby executive. That's become executive and help 4 to 5 other people become an executive. Or a Star bonus in the EMEA region, which is a 2,000 euro bonus for becoming a Ruby executive. Now, once we become an executive, of course, the goal is to duplicate by finding other people who want to have their own business and make a difference in their own lives and their financial future. They too need to become executive. By holding their hands and coaching them and helping them get through and maintain their executive business, you will be rewarded. And at each different stage, as you progress, the rewards get bigger and bigger. Now, today we want to spend more time on the advanced incentive, because this is what has helped us crystallize our 2020 vision. In the South Pacific, we're calling it the 100+1 bonus. In the EMEA region, it's called the Stellar bonus. Now, this is the big money bonuses on top of all commissions paid by the compensation plan. And these incentives, I say again, are on top of the 5% 6 levels compensation plan, which has already created more than 1,000 millionaires in cash with Nu Skin Enterprises. And this, over the next 5-6 years, will bring as many more millionaires into the fold because external timing or universal timing is now saying, focus on this 100+1 and Stellar bonus, and we will reward you in a way that we've never rewarded you before. Okay. All these other incentives, we also have the success trips. Now, these success trips are corporate sponsored trips to exotic destinations for you and your team, for anyone who qualifies at the Ruby or above level. And you can qualify for this every year as long as you keep on increasing your PIN level to the certain qualification requirements. Down here in the South Pacific this year, we're focusing on Koh Samui in Thailand, and in the EMEA region, it's Marrakesh for this year and Miami for next year. These are trips you want to be on because it's a chance for you to be recognized by and with your peers, and it's all expenses paid. Free travel, free accommodation, free food, and lots of fun. So all of these incentives and success trips are focused on helping everybody become a Ruby, and a strong Ruby, as quickly as possible. Become a Ruby, duplicate Ruby, and multiply Ruby. Ruby is a level of success in this business where you now have an organization and an income that will pay you enough to have choices in life. Choices like going part-time in your job, or even firing your boss and concentrating more on growing your Nu Skin and ageLOC business. The big money bonuses and the 100+1 or the Stellar bonus, depending on which region you're in. This is a two-pronged focused bonus which allows us to work as individuals, growing our own personal groups, and it also invites us to stand up as regional leaders and focus on the sales goals of the company in our own region, working with the other leaders in our region to make sure that we achieve this. So on a personal level, the 100+1 and Stellar bonus say to us each that we can stand up now with 2018, create 100 executives in our 6 levels of payout, including 1 star in the South Pacific, and we will be eligible to participate in the bonus incentive. As part of the regional sales goals, they're saying to us, let's combine hands with all the other leaders in our region and work together to achieve $100 million of sales in the South Pacific, or 500 million euros of sales in the EMEA region. So there are as these two parts come hand in hand together to maximize the 100+1 or Stellar bonus, then we have to grow our own organization and work together with other leaders to grow the total sales in our region. And achieving both of those, then you can participate in both parts. Okay, so over the next 4 years, we're going to go from wherever we are right now and add 100 executives. So what that means is that by December 2018, you'll have added up 100 new executives if you want to play in that game. And in the year of 2019, the minimum that your business will pay you will be based on the activity of 100 executives. So let's do some simple math to figure out exactly what that'll be worth. 100 executives multiplied by the average of 3,000 group sales volume. Okay, so that's the equivalent of 3,000 US dollars. 100 times 3,000, that's $300,000. Multiply that by 5%, which is what the executive breakaway bonus would pay you, and that's $15,000 US on a monthly basis. Now, if we annualize that, that'll come in at $180,000 paid that year. It could be more because you'll want to be growing your business that year as much as you have up until then. Now, Don't get so bogged down into all the math. I just want you to understand that 100 executives that will pay you $15,000 a month, that's 180,000 per annum. That's obviously somewhere that you probably want to be by the end of 2018. And to do that, you're going to have to work from now on in to build incrementally to get there. But rather than look from here at the daunting task of building 100 executives, why don't we look at that as a fait accompli? It's already been done. And we stand in a position of having that already accomplished. And we look backwards and say, okay, at the beginning of 2018, at what stage would we have needed to be so that during the course of 2018 we can grow from wherever we were to 100 executives? Now, during 2018, would it be fair to say that some people will become Ruby, some will become Emerald and Diamond, starting from zero? Of course they will. Will some do nothing at all? Yep, that's right. And some will just grow 1 or 2 executives. So why don't we take a duplication factor of every executive distributor just grows by 1. So 1 distributor becomes 2. That would mean that in January 2018, you'd need to have 50 executives. 50 executives in January 2018 would give you 3,000 points of volume per executive. That's 150,000 points of volume per month multiplied by 5%. It's 7,500. If you ever want to show this to somebody, it's just half the figures below, okay? Because 50 executives, same volume per executive. And now that works out on an annual basis to be $90,000, okay? So you can see that after 2018 and 19, you're really up there making some serious income. And as we come back again 1 year, 2017, and ask ourselves at what level would we have needed to be, then we'd see that if we did the same duplication factor of 1 executive becoming 2, then would be now at 25 executives January 2017. Do the 12 executives, that's halved again in 2016. And we need, in the next 6 months, to put together 4 to 6 frontline executives in 2015. So that's basically becoming a Ruby or Emerald executive and allowing that to grow during the second part of 2015 so that in 2016 we start being paid on 12 executives. So you can see now that the 3,000 point GSV multiplied by the number of executives gives you the total amount per month. 5% of that is in the breakaway bonus, and that's your monthly income, and that's your annualized income. Okay, so you can see that the figures start building up rapidly as your business starts growing exponentially. Understand that what you did was you took action now in 2015 and built the foundation. You'll keep growing that as you go. You're not going to stop in 2016, 17. But it's not only you that's growing in 2016, 17, 18, and 19. It's everybody that's duplicating as well. Those who choose to do it will do it a lot. Those who choose to do it not so much will duplicate by 1 or 2 or 4 or whatever. And those who don't duplicate at all, they're not going to duplicate. So we've chosen that average of 1 becoming 2. Now in 2015, how much are you going to earn? Well, you probably earn about $5,000 across the growth of that. You may earn more, but in the South Pacific and in the EMEA region, there's a kickstart bonus, which is 7,000 Australian dollars or 2,000 euros. And of course, there's a success trip, which is worth about $10,000 US dollars for you and a partner. So you're going to get a success trip in the first year. You probably make about 10,000 to 15,000 New Zealand Australian dollars in that first year. But the income starts ramping up in the second, third, fourth year. The first year is really about getting the foundation in place. In the subsequent years, 2016, 17, 18, and 19, you can qualify to go on success trips as well, each one to a different destination with your team. So money and free trips. This is what it's all about. Now, by the end of 2018, if you achieve that 100 executives, let's look at what you get. What happens when you actually achieve 100 new executives in the 100 plus 1 or stellar bonus? What the company has said is, for doing your part of growing company sales, I'm going to pay you a one-time cash bonus for having achieved those 100 new executives. In the South Pacific, it's $40,000. and in this European region, EMEA, it's 30,000 euros. On top of that, when as a combined team, all of the leaders, that's us, reach our $100 million target in the South Pacific, or 500 million euros in EMEA region, then the company will also add a share for each person who's added 100 executives from a bonus pool, which we've calculated to be anything between 50,000 to 100,000 of your currency on top of that cash bonus, which you'll get anyway. So the total amount being paid on top of all the commission income that comes in is now anything from 40,000 to 100 or 140,000 in the South Pacific in bonuses for doing what you wanted to do anyway. And know that for each incremental 100 executives that you grow, then those 100 plus 1 or stellar bonuses will then be doubled or tripled, quadrupled, depending on how many times you do that within the qualification period. Only grew by a factor of 1 executive becoming 2. Now you've got 200 executives in 2020 paying you on 3,000 group sales volume, it's at 600,000 in volume per month at 5%. That's 30,000 US dollars per month, $360,000 annualized. That's $700,000 almost in total over by the end of 2020. Add the stellar bonus or the 101 plus bonus, which is another 100,000 on top. You're up to 800 or 900, depending on how many hundreds you earn. You're pretty much there to the $1 million circle. And if you multiply it into our local currencies, you're definitely there. Can you see how simple this is? Focus on the stellar or the 100 plus 1 bonus. Go from here to 100 by the end of 2018. Work it backwards. 50 in the year before, 25, yes. And then start this year by becoming a ruby or emerald executive. Become that, then duplicate it and multiply it. This program says you need to stand up now and become a leader of your own life, and a leader of your own business, a leader of your own country, and a leader of your own region. And what is a leader? Well, a leader is one who knows the way, one who goes the way, and one who shows the way. That's a quote by John Maxwell, and I've just shared with you the way. We've shown you the vision, 2020 vision. By the end of 2020, anybody can become part of the millionaire circle. And why wouldn't you do it? Now, remember, along the way, what's going to keep the consumer interest, what's going to keep what's going to add to the growth is the limited time offers of new product. First of which is ageLOC Me, smart, simple, and customized. Anti-aging skincare, which is customized or personalized just for you. This device takes 5 different pods in it, and each one of those pods can be changed depending on what it is that you're looking for in your skincare regime. And out of 4,000 different permutations that this machine could make, you will create for yourself freshly on a daily basis your skincare product, unlike anything in the market. Rather than going to the supermarket or the department store and buying one of 2 options, which is oily, combination to oily, or dry skin. Those are the 2 options in the market today. You'll be able to choose between 4,000 different options depending on what your priority is. ageLOC Me, customized anti-aging skincare. This is a groundbreaker. On top of that, we'll also be introducing ageLOC Youth, which is a food supplement from Pharmanex that promotes your youth span. Your youth span is the years that you're able to live longer, defying your age. Everybody's going to want this product. It's age-locked. It will be a cornerstone of our business growth over the next few years. Find out about this, prepare for it, maximize the LTO. Talk about the importance of understanding duplication. You've seen in the figures for the 100 plus 1 and stellar bonus that it's all based on creating a foundation and duplicating that out of the next 4 years. And you need to understand the strength of your organization is equal to the speed of its duplication. So let's look at how organizations duplicate through exponential growth. We started with 2 executives in our business and we duplicated that. 2 by 2 is 4 and 4 by 2 is 8 and 8 by 2 is 16, 32 and 64. You can see that this geometric progression shows that there's way more activity happening down on your 6th level of business than you could ever create close to you. Hence the importance to duplicate and to duplicate rapidly. Now, what say you invested more time into your business and got a greater return by going for that ruby emerald status, and the average between 4 and 6 executives would be 5, so 5 duplicated by 5 now. Each one of them duplicating in the same manner that you did would become 25, 125, 625, 3125, and then astounding 15625 on the 6th level of duplication. Now there's a question that belies itself here. What is the difference between 64 and 15,625? And many of you will probably be thinking, oh, the difference is 15,500 and something, which is true when you look at it from the completed stage. However, when we actually go from the beginning, what the difference is how much you invested, how much you duplicated differently, and that difference is 3. So you put more in, and you'll double your effort, and you'll get considerably more than double your effort back. 3 times your effort, you'll get considerably more than 3 times. By the way, if you took that 3 and duplicated that, then that would become 729. As you know, 729 plus all the rest above, that makes over 1,000. We were looking for 200 for the figures that we talked about to become a millionaire. So remember, the strength of your organization is equal to the speed of its duplicate. Let's look a little bit deeper into what the value of leveraged income actually is. Leveraged income is income that's paid to you over the course of your lifespan for the work that you did once, you did it well, and you did it for the rest of your lifespan. So wherever you are in your life right now, you've got a work span ahead of you. That's the years left available for you to work. And that work span is the time that you need to put together whatever it is that you want for your retirement so that you can live your life in the way that you want during those retirement years. Now, let's say that you want to retire on $20,000 US per month. Then if you've only got 5 years left in your working career, or that's the amount of time that you want to do that, if you want to have that done by 2020, then that's the focus that you need to have. 20,000 per month at 12 months is 240,000 per annum. If you multiply that by the rest of your life, imagine that you got it done by 50, then the freedom span of your life will be 50 years. And that is the time that you get to choose what to do with that leverage income that comes in every month to invest in your passion or other businesses, to live your life in the way that you'd want to do it. So that 240,000 per annum over 50 years has a value of $12 million. Okay? Now, that is the value of the work that you will do now over the next 5 years to put yourself in place if you want to retire by then and live your life till the end of that lifespan. So, I want to ask you a question. What is the value of the action that you're going to take to make that happen? First of all, what is the action that you need to take? So, as we know, to do that you need to create an organization, and that organization is made up of consumers and it's made up of business builders. So, to do that, you're going to have to get on the phone. You're going to have to get on the phone and ask people a simple question. Hey, I've got the 2020 vision. I've figured out how anyone who wants to can join the Millionaire Club by the end of 2020. Do we need to sit down and talk about it? So how many phone calls like that is it going to take you to find those people necessary to do it? I don't know what your figures are, but you're going to have to do it at least 12 times to find 12 executives. You're probably going to have to do that 10 or 15, maybe 20 times at least, maybe even 50 times, who knows, per executive to find that executive and then drive that depth. Now, even if it were 1,000 phone calls, okay, is that doable over the next 5 years? Of course it is. However, when it comes to picking up that phone, ever noticed how heavy that receiver seems? That dial pad just keeps on getting further and further away from you because of something else that you think you need to do? Well, let's divide the return on investment from the actions that you're going to take. So that $12 million, if it took you 1,000 phone calls to find the 12 to 15 people that were going to do this and create your home run, the value per phone call would be US $12,000 per phone call. You divide 12 million by 1,000 and get that, okay? Now, you may do it in 500. Then you can do the figures. Let's say it took you more. Let's say it took you 2,000 phone calls to do it. Then the average call value would be $6,000. Okay? For $6,000, would you pick up the phone more often? Of course you would. Let's say it took you 4,000 phone calls to get that done. Even if it took 4,000 phone calls, that's 3 phone calls per day over the next 4 years during the Stellar or the 100 plus 1 bonus to get you to where you want to go. The average return per phone call in lifetime earnings would be $3,000 per phone call. Now, how long does it take to make a phone call? The kind of phone call that I just talked about, 30 seconds to a minute. Okay? You could have those 3 done by 9 a.m., couldn't you? Even before you were at work in your full-time job. If you did that, if you had those 3 phone calls made by the time you went to work, what would the value of your morning's effort be? $9,000. Okay? When I put it to myself that way, yeah, I get up a little bit earlier. I make sure that I make those phone calls. I make sure that before anything else, the most important thing for me is to make sure that my freedom span is taken care of, and I pay myself $9,000 a morning. Go for it. Okay. So, as we go forward and we understand those figures or the concepts around those figures, and we can see how that vision of being so clear that anyone can join the $1 million circle by the end of 2020, let's get back to basics. And the basics have been put together again by Nu Skin Enterprises, working with all of the top leaders and asking the question, what is it that they've all used in common to propel them to the higher echelons of success? And the success formula is a formula that is common amongst all of the top leaders. It is to dream, set goals, believe, take action, and lead. And, you know, wherever you are in your business right now, if it's going forward fast or if it's not going as fast as you want, you can look at it and say, where am I being true to these 5 points, these 5 success formula action points? And if your business isn't happening the way that you want, then one of these will be lacking. And you can always go back and work on that and get back into that success formula. The success formula is available to everybody. You can look it up online. You can get it in your starter kit when you get started with the business. Get hold of the company and figure out how you can get that into your hands. It is the best tool that they have given us that is so easy to duplicate around the world. So use a success formula. So just one more time, I just want to remind you of what the bad news about all this was. The bad news is that you're going to have to work, and you're going to have to work more than you've ever worked in your life. The good news is that the returns are incredible. And with this 2020 vision, you understand now how anyone can go from wherever they are right now to the $1 million circle by the end of 2020. And that is great news. That's news that you can bank on, and it's news that we can share with anybody. So I hope this webinar has been pertinent to you. I hope that you're going to take it and run with it, and we look forward to seeing you as part of the Millionaire Circle by the end of 2020. Thanks again. My name's Graham Hay. Goodbye.